My name is Mike. I am a 34-year-old married white male, father of two, accountant for a living, and I have been carnivore for 1 year and 3 days. I started the carnivore diet after trying to get my weight and general overall health and control. 1 year ago, I was pre-diabetic. I had high blood pressure. I had high cholesterol. I had obstructive sleep apnea. I had inflammation in my stomach, partially attributed to stress. And about 16 months ago, I had emergency back surgery for a herniated L5S1 disc in my lower back. I was not the picture of health at 34 with a 3 and a 5-year-old at home. Really needed to get myself in shape. So, desperate for trying to find something that would work for me, knowing that I did not like exercise, I did not enjoy it, and I was not well disciplined with it, I looked to improve my diet, did not know what I wanted to do. I ate kind of previously I had eaten whatever it was I wanted, whenever I wanted, and however much I wanted. I was about 212 pounds, standing at 5'5", so I was very overweight for being so small in stature. My back surgeon actually attributed my body composition partially to how my disc had been herniated due to just a general weakness in my back and the weight that I was carrying on the front end of my belly. Um, Very unhealthy. In September of 2018, I decided I have to eat differently and I have to just do something that's not what I'm doing now. I went on a journey with the intention of changing my diets every 2 weeks. I started with the paleo diet, then I just generally cut carbs, then I went to the vegan diet. And I figured after the vegan diet, what's better than that than to switch and go to the total opposite and do carnivore, which was something I had heard of, but kind of thought would be very challenging, unhealthy, and not possible for me to stick with. But trying to stick with my 2 week pattern of dieting, I stuck with it through 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, I was very much ready to get off of it. My stomach was not reacting in the way I had expected, and it was just a mental challenge. But I had some people tell me, no, you got through the hardest part, stick with it. I did. 1 year later, I'm feeling incredibly better. I'm feeling physically, I feel much more spry, if you will. The back pain that I had, residual from the surgery, has mostly diminished. Um, Most importantly, I have energy. Mentally, I feel like I'm on some kind of crazy antidepressant or anti anxiety medication. I did not realize quite how miserable and tired I previously was. But looking back now, I kind of realized I felt generally overall just bogged down. Physically, I felt slow. Mentally, I felt slow. I felt like everything was a challenge, everything was a chore. No longer have those feelings. As far as my markers go, my blood pressure has come down significantly. I was averaging about 149 over 90, which is extremely unhealthy and rather dangerously high. Um, Down to normal levels. 119 over 79 was my last blood pressure reading I had in my checkup. I have had blood work done. While my cholesterol is just as high as it was before, which my doctor had told me is not extremely bad. It's just higher than he would have hoped. I don't have the number in front of me. Everything else has gotten better. My triglycerides, for the first time in 10 years, are in a normal range. They had always been extremely high. I am no longer pre diabetic. My sugars are at normal levels. Again, don't have the numbers in front of me. And I no longer have obstructive sleep apnea. That was a huge one for me. I was previously falling asleep unexpectedly immediately after eating my dinner every night. I did not really know why. Kind of had a feeling it had something to do with my health. Went and had a sleep study done and found out I had severe obstructive sleep apnea. So I wasn't sleeping through the night properly. My oxygen levels were low. And what was happening is by the time I would end up eating dinner at the end of the night, around 8 or 9 o'clock, not only would I have a very high sugar diet, dessert specifically, and being pre-diabetic, my blood sugar was kind of going crazy. But on top of that, I was just crashing from exhaustion. Um, I would end up eating dinner 8 o'clock at night, 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and just waking up on my sofa at 3 o'clock in the morning. No recollection of even falling asleep. So dropping the obstructive sleep apnea, no longer needing to sleep with a CPAP blowing air in my face all night, has been a huge relief, and honestly didn't think that that was even going to be possible. In addition, I'm off my blood pressure medicine. I feel great physically. I feel like I can kind of conquer the world from a physical aspect. Sexual life has improved dramatically as far as stamina goes. That's for sure. Certainly, enjoyment's a lot easier now as I'm a little bit more confident as well. Um, Wake up in the morning and I can actually stomach to look at myself and think, wow, I haven't worked out in years and I kind of look like I might have. It's a big confidence booster as well. So overall, I'm very glad that I did this. I've been doing this carnivore diet, certainly sticking with it. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the results. I'm enjoying my dinner, my lunch every day. I'm also an accountant, so I feel talking about the economics of this might be helpful as well, as a lot of people ask me about the financial end of what isn't this an expensive diet. And really, what I found is the answer is a net slight gain or neutral. I spend about $270 to $300 a month in meat for me, which is all of my food that I'll eat in a month. My entire family budget, generally what we spend is around $1,500 a month in food, and that covers my 300 for me, and then 1,200 for my wife and two children. So between the three of them, they're spending about $400 per person per month in food, and I'm spending about 300. So not eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner all the time, just eating when you're hungry and having the meat there is actually more economically beneficial per meal than one might think. In addition, I was able to ditch my blood pressure medicine as well as my cost of my CPAP. They were costing me about $120 a month between the two of them. So I'm looking at this as kind of being about $220 positive in cash here as a result of this diet, between savings on the prescriptions and generally spending less in a month on the food specifically that I'm eating here. So to say that this diet has been a success for me would be a fair statement. Mentally, I feel great. Physically, I feel great. And even economically, I feel has been a win. Certainly going to stick with this diet. I'm certainly enjoying it and hope everybody else does too. Thanks.